Welcome to this edition of the Mark Kingston Show. We're into conference play alongside the head coach, Mike Lefko, with you. We're a couple of weekends into conference play. You guys have had some up and down series to start. I want to touch on something that you mentioned at the start of the year. You said we have a very new, very young team that at times will look like world beaters and at times will look like a new team. Is that kind of what summed up these past couple of weekends?
I'd say so. You look at the results. Right now we're 2-4 in the league, and we very easily could be 4-2. We lost an extra inning game to Cincinnati that could have been the difference in that series, and then we had a very uncharacteristic blown save against Memphis that would have helped us to win 2 out of 3 in that series as well. So the margin for error with our team because of the inexperience is very small, so we just have to play perfect baseball right now. The difference between us winning and losing games right now is just very minute. So we have to do everything right. When we do, we win. And when we slip up just a little bit, they've turned into close losses.
I'm sure this has been an interesting and new experience for you and the coaching staff to have so many young players and then deal with all these injuries.
Right.
So when you've cobbled together these lineups, do you kind of go in thinking, all right, I might have this lineup, but I might change it a couple of games later?
Well, a lot of it has been dictated by injuries. Obviously, with Levi being out for the season, Maglich has been out for a significant amount of time. Merrill has had spurts where he's been out for a significant amount of time. So that has forced us to have to experiment a lot, much more than I would normally like. We've had some nights where we had 8 freshmen on the field. So it's just part of this process. We're building this thing from the ground up, and so we're going to continue to give those guys opportunities, and they're getting better. If you look at our last 5 game stats, our last 10 game stats, we're definitely trending in the right direction. From an offensive standpoint, we're not scoring as much as I want to yet, but I think we're seeing good signs.
Yeah, double-digit hits last weekend at the end of the Memphis series. He put up another solid offensive number last Tuesday. So it has to be a positive when you see these guys like Coco Montez and David Villar start to get that consistency at the plate.
Yeah, we're seeing good improvement out of Zek, out of Coco, out of Villar, and other guys as well. Joe Genord has really started to come on of late. So a lot of freshmen are really starting to get better. On the pitching side, Andrew Perez as a freshman has really come a long way, and he was 91 to 93 the other night, pounding the strike zone. So we're seeing a lot of positives, a lot of reason for optimism. We all want to win, and so it's frustrating when you lose these close games that you know we're right on the verge. It's frustrating for everybody, but we just need to know that these are growing pains and that they're going to pay off. There's no doubt in our mind.
Well, you talk about settling into roles, and I know you've had to shift some guys around from different positions than you thought would be there at the start of the year. But you mentioned Andrew Perez, kind of that middle relief role.
Right.
Brad Labazetta in that relief role. They look like since going to relief, they've become very solid, reliable pitchers.
They have. Labazetta's been very good as of late. You mentioned Perez. Our pitching has been very good. Our pitching is in the mid-3 ERAs right now. That's outstanding. Considering the injuries we've had, a lot of guys have really stepped up. So you have to tip your cap to Billy Mole, our pitching coach, and that staff. They've found a way to get it done. So now it's up to the offense to get better and to score just enough to start winning these close games. That's the bottom line.
Well, coming up, we'll talk about something that the baseball team did that really goes beyond just playing the games, the wins and losses, and why our heads are shaved and why Mark is covering up his head right now. When we come back, we'll see what happened last weekend for the USF baseball team after this on the Mark Kingston Show.
The University of South Florida is a regional powerhouse with global significance, leading advances that are changing the world. Now a leader among the nation's universities in research, healthcare, and just being cool. The place where young men and women train to become the best.
This is where the Bulls run.
It all started with our coaching staff. I did it at Illinois State. I think it's one of Kingston's teammates is the founder of the Breast Cancer Foundation. So they want to support him. I believe he went through cancer when he was at UNC on the baseball team, and that's how it all started. The whole team shaved their heads in honor of him going through cancer and losing his hair through chemotherapy. So they established it then and just brought it here, and we all bought in. I think this team as a whole was happy to, buy into something that's bigger than baseball. Be a part of it and embrace it, and hopefully, find a cure for this.
There's a lot of guys on this team that have battled cancer in their family. They've seen their own family members, friends go through it, and it's the least we can do after seeing somebody deal with that dreaded disease. It's the least we can do to show some support for those people dealing with it. It's very special to me. Obviously, I've dealt with cancer in my family. I lost my wife, so this day is a day I always look forward to. It's even better off when we win on a Sunday and get to come out, raise some money for childhood cancer awareness, and shave our heads.
I mean, you definitely turn some heads, but I think when people ask, they realize, wow, like that's something great to do for a great cause, and embrace it as a team and raise money. Ultimately we've raised $25,000 in the last 2 years towards research and making their lives better in the hospital, and everything else, supporting them.
This is where the legends live, waiting for someone with better innovation. From the brand that reinvented the t-shirt comes the Under Armour Speedform Apollo. This is our rocket ship.
We just saw this past Sunday the Bulls baseball team shave their heads after the win against Memphis. And Coach, this is a cause that I know you and most of the coaching staff have gotten behind and really rallied the team in your 2 years here. And I know you got behind it as well, if you want to show the close cropped hair there.
Absolutely. The Versus Cancer Foundation is something we feel very strongly about partnering with. Billy Mole has spearheaded our association with them. Chase Jones, the founder of Versus Cancer Foundation, is related to my former mentor Rick Jones. So it's a very important organization, something we're very proud to be a part of. We've raised over $27,000 the last 2 years. So financially, we've been able to make a significant impact. And then symbolically, as you can see with both of our heads, our entire team, coaches, support staff, all shave their heads to symbolically support everybody that's fighting cancer out there. So something that's extremely important to us.
I know wins and losses are important, but when you saw all your players shaving their heads and they see everyone doing that, do you think it kind of rings to them just how important life off the field is as well?
I think so. We actually mentioned it before the game. As we were talking to the guys getting ready to play the game, I said, guys, the game is not the most important thing we'll do today. As much as we all want to win, the game will be the second most important thing we do. The first will be what we do after the game with the Versus Cancer, with the fundraising, and with shaving our heads. So the great thing is we ended up winning the game and then having a great event afterwards with the support of a lot of families, a lot of parents, a lot of people in the community. Great Clips was great in supporting us as well and providing the stylists. Stylist is probably for our guys, there wasn't much to style, but they helped in really pulling this event off. So a lot of things went into it. A lot of people were a part of it. So once again, something we're very proud to be a part of.
As Mark said, over $27,000 now raised in the 2 years you've been here. That is truly an incredible moment for the Versus Cancer Foundation that USF Baseball has done. All right, back to talking about the game. So conference play is coming up, the third conference series for you guys. And this is always a big one against UCF, the first of 6 meetings this year against the Knights. What do you tell your team going into this one?
Just keep getting better. Just keep getting better. It's a rivalry. Obviously, UCF will be up for it. Our guys will be up for it. So we just need to play good baseball. As I've said a number of times, we've lost 9 games now by 1 or 2 runs. So we're in a lot of close ball games, and it's a bunt here, it's a hit the cutoff man there, it's a one more big hit with 2 outs. We're that close to really being the kind of team that can compete with anybody. And combining that with how young we are, I think we just need to keep pushing forward until we get over that hump. It's going to happen. We just don't want it to happen sooner rather than later.
A lot of these guys coming right from high school might have been on very good teams. They win state championships, they win AAU, not used to losing perhaps early on. Is there something you stress to them? Hey, don't get down. There are so many conference weekends left in this season.
Yeah, I mean, once again, unfortunately, when you're building it, there's going to be some ups and downs, and that's what we're experiencing right now. So our job is to make sure the guys don't get used to losing, don't think that the losing's okay, but by the same token, don't overreact so much that you take the fun away from coming to the ballpark. So that's my challenge as the head coach, is to make sure they understand the ultimate goal is to get better as players, to win these games. But the struggles are going to come. It's just part of building a baseball team, and so we just have to handle it the right way and continue to work every day on the process of getting better, because you do that long enough, soon enough, you look up and you're a really good team.
Well, a couple of road conference weekends coming up for USF. Then they actually return home to take on UCF. So we'll have preview of that series coming up when we have our next edition of the Mark Kingston Show. Thanks for watching here on GoUSFBulls.com.